Chakari, Zimbabwe. A place where dreams are made of gold. And a company where teamwork and community are indeed our cornerstone. We begin by metal detecting areas of gold and sending out our geologists to investigate further how much gold is in the area. If you know anything about the extraction of gold, you know that it's not as simple as digging up a pure nugget here and there. It's quite the process, and we would love to show you ours. As blood flows through the veins of your body, gold runs along its own vein, which we refer to as a reef, and they have to determine the direction of that reef. They have to establish how accessible or dangerous the area is, and ensure that it can be worked safely. The geologists and their team then begin their tests as they survey the area for further signs of gold and make a determination by taking samples in order to assess the type of behaviors presented by the geology. They bag the samples, label them, and take them to the lab. Once the lab has confirmed the presence of gold, we begin to extract and accumulate it. And that process begins with stockpiling all ore in the form of rocks and stones, which we load into the back of a tipper. All this is done with care, thus ensuring that we are securing the environment safely. And that ore is then driven and dumped into a jaw crusher, which is the first of a series of stages it has to go through before we can attain a final product. If you have a look at the 6 stages of this diagram, all of this large equipment will begin to make better sense to you. From the jaw crusher, the broken down rocks and stones are transferred on a conveyor belt to a bin at stage 2. From that bin, it's back onto more conveyor belts as they travel through to stage 3. And that's a secondary jaw crusher. From there, it's back onto another conveyor belt and into a second bin as it moves on to stage 4, which is our ball mill. This crushes it down even finer than the jaw crushers have managed to do. And from there we move to stage 5, which is where our separators are located, and this concentrates the material before piping it up into the water circulation area at stage 6, which is where we dump the export from the concentrators so that we can recirculate the water and reuse it. It's all very environmentally friendly. Having said all this, why don't we drill down a little bit closer and understand exactly what each component does and how specifics of each piece of equipment aid the process. You're looking at a conveyor belt system, which is dumping material into the first bin. This bin holds over 180 tons of material. From that bin, it's conveyed to the secondary jaw crusher, which breaks it up even further. Back onto the conveyor belt and into the secondary bin, which holds approximately 60 tons. From there, it's conveyed into the ball mill. Now this processes anywhere from 15 to 20 tons an hour, and as you can see, it's crushing it down into really, really fine material. It's not the same huge rocks and stones that you were looking at before. Now you'll notice that at each phase we have individuals keeping a diligent eye on the machinery to ensure that the proper material is going in and we don't have additional metal, paper, or debris of any kind going into the ball mill, as this would be damaging to that equipment. Now the concentrators, which you see here, referred to by some as separators, concentrate the gold using centripetal force, a force that acts on a body moving in a circular path and is directed toward the center. So in this case, because the gold is the heavier component, it forces the gold to spin to the edges, thus allowing for the light material to be exported out. The gentlemen here are testing to make sure that we're not losing too much gold. We test at the concentrators, and we also test where we're exporting out to, which is where we do our water recirculation. So this first hold is where the material is piped. We dig it out and let it dry out before it goes into our cyanidation tanks. These static cyanidation tanks are where we dump the light material that did not have any free gold, but the gold is trapped in the sand. We use cyanide to extract any remnants of gold. It then goes into a box where there's carbon, and this captures the gold. The cyanidation process actually liquefies the gold. In other words, you have liquid gold captured and held by the carbon, and once that carbon has been extracted through an elution process, it's then ready to go to the smelter. This is exciting. This is where you get to see raw gold turn into fine gold. By smelting that, what we do is ensure that all the impurities in the gold are burnt out, so that you have a higher percentage of pure gold. We're talking anywhere from 92 to 96% pure gold. And that's what you have right there. Pure gold that just went through our plant. Real money, real value, produced at Goldma. Gold chip mining asset in Zimbabwe.